Hey guys, it's Sharmy Cedars here from Charmed Handmade, and today I'll be making 3 different shades of lipstick with these 3 tubes that I got from Amazon. I will put the links in the description below, as well as everything else you'll need to make these beginner-friendly lipsticks. So you'll also need a lipstick mold. I got this one from TKB Trading, but there are some on Amazon that I have not tested though. And you'll also need this lipstick base. Like I said, this is a beginner friendly recipe, so we're just going to use the base and test out the colorants. And speaking of colorants, I did order these from TKB Trading as well. This is the Lip Liquid Premium Sample Collection, but if you want to buy the specific colors as well, you can do that on the website. But I wasn't sure going into this, so I just bought the sampler. I will also be using some Micas just because, according to the TKB Trading website, where I got all this information from, the Mica will help the color transfer onto the lips better. And I also have these 2 rubber bands to keep the mold closed while the lipstick is solidifying. Alright, so the first thing I need to do is wipe down my mold with this Q-tip. And I'm going to use fractionated coconut oil, but you can use the carrier oil of your choice. Just make sure you don't put too much oil in the mold because then it'll sit and also be in the final product. We just want it enough for the lipstick to be able to slip out at the end. And make sure you do both pieces. Now I'll put those 2 pieces together and wrap it with the rubber bands, and then we can start on making our lipstick. As you can see, I already have my water bath going. I would recommend medium to low heat for that, and about 1 inch of water. And in each one of my beakers up here, I do have 3 grams of the lipstick base, just because I'm only doing 3 and each one will be 3 grams. Like I said before, I did not test these colors beforehand, so yeah, we're just going to try it out, but we're going to go within the parameters that TKB Trading set for this base. And for the lip liquid, they say use up to 20 drops of color per 3 grams of lipstick base. And if you decide to use a pigment, then you'll use about 1 gram of pigment to 3 grams of lipstick base. And since we're testing, I'm just going to weigh them out instead of trying to do it by drops, just because I may want to recreate this one day, or you may want to recreate this, so you want to have the specific measurements per colorant. For this first lipstick, I decided to do 0.3 grams of True Red Mica from Mad Micas, along with 0.7 grams of the Pretty Pink Lip Liquid from TKB Trading. For this one, I was going for a nice bright red. I'm not sure if it'll look good on my skin tone, but that's what I was going for. And once that's weighed out, I'm just going to put that in the water bath to melt. For this next combination, I'm going for more of a burgundy color, so I'll be mixing 0.3 grams of the Coming Up Roses lip liquid with 0.2 grams of the Red Oxide from Mad Micas. And then I also decided to add 0.1 grams of the Roasted Chestnut lip liquid as well. And of course, this will all be in the blog post that goes along with this recipe, and it'll also be down in the description below. For my last combination, I decided to go for more of a bubblegum type color, so I decided to add 0.5 grams of the Yummy Pink lip liquid along with 0.3 grams of the Sakura Mica, and that is from Mad Micas. And I also decided to add this flavoring oil just because I've had it for a while. This one came from Mica, but TKB Trading also has flavoring oils if you don't want to order from a bunch of different places. And I added 2 drops of the flavoring oil. Now I'm just gonna let the lipstick base melt, and then I'll come back and pour them into the molds. Alright, now that my base is completely melted, I'm just gonna mix these up thoroughly and pour them into each cavity. And make sure you scrape the sides when you're pouring so that you can fill it all the way up. You may have noticed that I put each beaker back in the warm water bath once I finish pouring. That's just because I find it much easier to clean up when it's still melted as opposed to it being solidified. I just go through and wipe it with a paper towel a couple times, and then I'm able to wash it from there. Alright, now that the mold is filled, it's time to put it in the freezer for at least 30 minutes. I had a bunch of other stuff to do, so I ended up letting them sit in there for about 90 minutes. But now it's time to take the rubber bands off and take the mold apart. To get the lipstick into the tube, first make sure that the tube is twisted all the way up, and then you'll want to put the tube over the mold and then kind of slip it out. My second one didn't want to come out as easy as the first one did. I tried it twice and it didn't work, so I didn't want to keep doing it and break it. So I moved on to the third one. And the third one came out much easier, but for the second one, I'm just gonna put this mold back in the freezer. I didn't even bother putting the top back on because I didn't want to ruin it. So I just put it back in the freezer. It only took 5 minutes for me, but I took it out and it's much easier now. All right, y'all, this is the final product. So I let them sit overnight, and this is what they look like on my skin.